For this project, I used an 8x8 canvas and painted it white. And then I took Krylon metallic gold leaf spray paint while the white paint was still wet and sprayed it on multiple times and continued to brush it off and spray it on and brush it off until I got the desired effect. I picked up these two beautiful metallic red, Christmassy looking, I'm not even sure what you call them, from the Goodwill for $4.99 each. It looks like they were from Home Goods originally for $12.99. But when I saw it, I thought, oh, those would be perfect for poinsettia petals. The perfect color. Anyway, the tool I'm using in this project is called a nipper. I originally bought it for stained glass. I use stained glass in some of my projects, and it's used for stained glass, and some people even use it to cut tiles with. And in this project, we're using it to cut the petals for the poinsettia leaves, for the poinsettia petals. Anyway, I'm not putting this in fast forward because I want you to see how I do it. And what I'm trying to do is get petals that look just like the one I just set down there for this project. You'll see me sometimes grabbing it with two hands, trying to help the hand, because sometimes it can be hard to squeeze, and I have a little bit of arthritis in my hand, so sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for me, but you guys with young hands would probably be better. So here I am just shaping each of the pieces, and each time I find one that I think will work for the petals, I set in the pile there. And I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys watch this so that you can see how I cut the glass. So the other thing is you should be wearing safety glasses when you do this. The glass does fly. And be really careful in the room. I walk around in stocking feet a lot, so you have to be careful that you don't step on any glass. And also, you have to, if you could get a deeper box while you do it. I use this shallow box just so that you guys could see it, but it really, if it's in a deeper box, it's less likely to fly all over the place. If you'll notice, I'm cutting the glass in a particular way so that the petals are rounded. Instead of cutting the glass straight up and down, I'm doing it around the curve so that the petals are rounded. So here I'm just kind of trying to piece them together now to see if I have enough for two poinsettias. One I'm going to do for a resin project, and that'll be the next video that I'm doing. And next I'm dumping out all my green tumbled glass that I'm going to use for the project. Now this is glass that I've prepared myself by breaking it up and tumbling it in a tumbler with grit for up to a week. Now you could also just break up green glass and cut it with the nippers, just like I did the red glass, and you would achieve the same effect. It's just that I happen to have this on hand. The reason I did not tumble the red glass is because it's only painted on, and in the tumbler the paint would come off and you would end up with clear glass. So next I'm mixing up the Mod Podge. It's gloss Mod Podge, and I use 1/4 cup of Mod Podge and 1/4 cup of water to make 1/2 cup of solution, and I mix it up real well. Now the first thing that I'm going to be putting down on the canvas are the green leaves, and I feel like I'm going to want them to really stick the best, so I'm using full strength Mod Podge right down on the canvas, and then I'll set the leaves down first. Once the Mod Podge is all painted on there, then I start arranging the leaves on top of it. I put them kind of in a wreath fashion, in a circle, and I put them closer to the edges so that they stick out from underneath the petals. Once all the leaves are on, I start arranging the petals, and honestly I probably take about 10 minutes arranging them and rearranging them. I really take my time doing that. As you saw when I was cutting the petals were all kind of curved, and when you pile them on top of each other sometimes they slip and slide a little bit, so you have to redo it multiple times. Now on the poinsettia that I did in another video on glass, I had made the center too wide and I really wasn't very happy with it at the end. So this time I decided to do it a little differently and make the center a little bit smaller. About a month ago I had broken up a glass plate for another project, and I had some smaller pieces, and I put those in the center, and I decided I was going to put some yellow beads, just a couple on the very top, and I think I put a couple on here, and then once I put the Mod Podge on I put a few more on. I thought that would be best, and I thought they would stay in place better that way. Next I take the half strength Mod Podge that I had mixed up earlier and mix up again a little bit, and then I start putting it over the top of the poinsettia, and you really have to saturate it to hold it in place. I have the canvas up off of the paper with little cups under it, because if the canvas was to dry on the paper it would stick to it and you would have to rip it off. I know it looks like I'm putting a ton on, but this is what you really have to do, and don't worry about it pooling in places. You'll use the paintbrush and kind of move it around on the canvas, and if there's some big puddles on the leaves I use the paintbrush and kind of get those puddles, big puddles, off of there. For the most part it will all dry clear, you'll see in the end, but you just kind of keep on moving it around and paint it over the edges, and take your time. It takes a few minutes. It's gonna pool over the sides, and that's fine, and just keep on going over it with the paintbrush. I think I spent, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes doing this part of it. And this is when I put some more of the little yellow beads on the very center. I thought maybe the Mod Podge would hold it in place better. And then I put a little bit more over the top of it to make sure the beads are secured. So this is going to take 24 to 48 hours to dry. And once you set it to dry, I'd check on it every once in a while, and if there seems to be any pooling on the canvas or on the leaves, you can use a little brush and go over it. It looks like I used a little over half of my original solution for this project, just to give you an idea of how much I ended up using. And then, like I said, let it dry for 24 to 48 hours, and you're done. Okay, I'm all done. This is the finished poinsettia, Mod Podge poinsettia. I think it turned out real cute. I had one problem with it. One of the petals did fall off. I kind of whacked it on the table just to see if everything was intact. And so what I did was I took some E6000 and reattached the petal, And then there was a spot that I thought it looked a little bare, so I added another petal to it with E6000 after the fact. But I think it turned out real cute. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.